بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وعظيمنا محمد المصطفى وعلى آله الأصفياء وأصحابه الأتقياء والتابعين لهم بخير وإحسان إلى يوم الجزاء وأما بعد. Beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your needy brother Dawood. Inshallah, you will be accompanying, along with myself, the Umrah group through Sarah International Travel, in which we will be flying out of JFK, heading to Jeddah, and then from Jeddah to Mecca to perform our Umrah rites, then going to the blessed city of the Prophet, alayhi afdalu salatu salam, al-Madinatu Munawwara. And so, as a refresher for some and new information for others, we'd like to go over the procedures of Umrah, and especially since we will be flying and there will need to be preparations as far as getting into a state of Ihram while we are in the air, unlike if we were leaving on land from Medina, for instance, and stopping at the Miqat of Dhul Khalifa. We actually will be getting to a state of Ihram in the airline, so we will begin there and discuss the different arkan of Umrah. Those things are necessary. Those things that are also mustahab. Those things are recommended or strong sunnahs. And then also we will discuss what happens if one of the arkan al-Umrah are violated. Then what is the penalty, or what is the fidya that needs to be taken care of. So in regards to the Ihram garment of the cloth, for the brothers, Sarah International Travel will be giving that to you at JFK airport, and we've been instructed to get to the airport 4 hours prior to our departure. You will be getting in your hand the Ihram garment, which is 2 pieces of white cloth. Now, normally it is recommended before getting to a state of Ihram that we make ghusl. Now, you're not going to be able to make ghusl on the Saudi Airlines, but I suggest that that morning, prior going to the airport, that each and every single one of us makes ghusl with the intention of purifying ourselves, that we are going to be going on this sacred journey. And then, of course, before leaving that morning, make rakatain, and make 2 units of prayer before heading out, that we all, inshallah, have a blessed journey to the sacred lands. Now, once we get into the air and we are flying, we will be passing the area of where the miqat would be when we are in the air. So, as we know that Ihram is a state, Ihram is not simply dress, and there's fiqh around it. For the sisters, it's very easy, right? That you should just have some clothing that is tahir, that is clean. It doesn't have to be one specific color, but it's good if you just have wear an abaya for this solid color. It's fine. Blue, black, it's fine. Wear a solid color, a dark color, inshallah. That's clean. Now, for the brothers, what we're going to need to do is go, and I suggest that you wear something light to change. We're going to have to change into our 2 white pieces of cloth for the Ihram garment while we are in the air. So we will be able to do that on the airplane, though the bathrooms, the restrooms won't be the biggest, but we will be able to change. We should begin to do that up to, like, say, slowly going like 3 hours beforehand, getting into this Ihram garment. Now, for the brothers, the 2 pieces of white cloth there cannot be anything else worn over top or below these two white garments, which includes like not wearing any t-shirt nor wearing any boxers or any undergarments. It's just the two white pieces of cloth that are being wrapped. That one that is wrapped, and you should try to wrap it tight, but keep your legs like around shoulder length, because this is the or shoulder width, because this is the width you're going to need to basically to walk around with some sort of comfort, to have it tight, and to have this cloth covering the area of at least your navel and going down to below your knees at a length long enough that if you're in jalsa, if you're in the sitting position, that your knees are covered if you were in prayer. That's for the bottom garment. For the top garment, it can just be wrapped around. But again, no undergarments. Prior to this ihram, you can put on some nice scent, like some bakhur or some oud or some sort of misk or something like that. Put on some nice scent. That's totally fine. Now, when we are in the air and they're going to announce that we are passing through the area of the miqat, this is number one where we have to make the intention. This is for the males and for the females, that we have to make an intention. So you make the intention. You don't have to say it in Arabic, but you could say Allahumma inni uridul umrah. Allahumma inni uridul umrah. Oh Allah, surely I intend umrah. Right? This is just a very of the simplest way that you could say it. And you make this pronouncement not very loud, but you make it say Allahumma inni uridul umrah. And then from there, this is the intention of being in a state of ihram. Once being in a state of ihram, then we begin with saying the talbiyah out loud. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Oh Allah, I am here. I am here. I'm at your service. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. In alhamda wa ni'mata laka wa mulk la sharika lak. So this talbiyah is on websites, it's in books. I suggest that you look it up, and I believe that Sarah International Travel will be sharing this talbiyah along with certain dua. You will be receiving that information. So you will need to proclaim the talbiyah, and it's good to understand the meaning of what we are saying. Now, within a state of ihram, there are certain things that violate the state of ihram. So keep in mind that ihram, my brothers and sisters in Islam, is not just the clothing, it's a state. And ihram is related to, the word haram, right? Invaluable, or haram, right? A area in which there are sacred precincts. This is the meaning. So we are in a sacred state, right, in which certain things cannot be done when we're in a state of ihram, and we will go through the steps of Umrah in which we can get out of the state of ihram, right? So we're going to land in Jeddah and head to Mecca. We're in a state of ihram. In a state of ihram, there are certain things that we cannot do that will violate the state of ihram. The first is arafath, right? It is sexual relations. I know that some of the people traveling are traveling with their spouses, husbands with wives, wives with husbands. In a state of ihram, and getting back to the hotel once we get to the city of Mecca, there is no sexual relations or intercourse in a state of ihram. This also relates to al-lafz bil-qabih. There's also no profane language. No profane language in a state of ihram. So these are one aspect that would violate the state of ihram. Number two, al-fusuq, doing any sort of corruption or corrupt activities. As the Prophet ﷺ said, sababu muslim fusuq, right? To revile a Muslim to curse a Muslim is fasuq, for instance. So there is no sort of corrupt behavior that brings harm. The third is el-jidal. That is argumentation, huwa majadalatu bil-batil. That argumentation in regards to things that are contentious or things that could have any strain of falsehood or inaccuracy. No argumentation in a state of ihram, my brothers and sisters in Islam. Again, we mentioned there is no putting on any other garments. So you don't put on a coat and zip your coat up, right? No wearing qamis, no wearing a shirt, no putting on pants, no undergarments in a state of ihram. Even when we go into the haram to make our tawaf and our sa'i, which we will get to that, no khufain for the brothers, right? As sisters normally don't wear khufain, but no leather socks while going into the haram to make tawaf and sa'i in a state of ihram. This is something else that violates the state of ihram. No removal of hair or cutting hair within the state of ihram. No plucking any sort of hair anywhere on the body, intentionally moving of hair, cutting hair, anything like that. Also, in the state of ihram, once we get in the state of ihram and do this niyah, certain the talbiyah, no using any perfume, no cologne, no oils, no kuhl, putting this kuhl on the eyes. This is forbidden. Also, in the state of ihram, it's impermissible to get married. I know this may sound far-fetched, but like even to get into a point of engagement, like I don't know the circumstances of that, meeting someone on the trip and wanting to get engaged, but that doesn't work. Or getting married in the state of ihram, that also is incorrect, right? That's not permissible, and this violates the state of ihram, my brothers and sisters. So these are some of the things that violate the state of ihram, and we need to be extremely careful about this. Now, we're going to land in Jeddah. Now, once we are in the state of ihram, my brothers and sisters in Islam, in this sacred state, we should be cutting down on any superfluous talk. We should be doing talbiyah or doing tasbih and tahleel and takbir. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. Doing istighfar, astaghfirullah al-azim alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayh. Or Durood Sharif, or Asad al-Nabi, Allahumma salli ala Sayyid Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam. Or anything we should be in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remembering his Habib sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. These are the activities that we should be involved in when we're in the state of ihram. The talbiyah, of course, is something that should be done, and no fudul or like superfluous conversation. This needs to be stayed away from, my brothers and sisters in Islam. Also, let me mention it in a state of ihram that there is no, unnecessary killing of anything, right? So, like no animals or anything like that. If you were to run across it, if it's not necessary out of personal safety, there would be no bring any harm or killing any sort of animal. Now, we're going to go to Mecca. It's going to be Yom al-Jum'ah, inshallah, when we get there. So we'll have to go to our hotel, get things checked in, make Salat al-Jum'ah. We'll come back and get some rest. Now, as I mentioned before, we don't put on any scent while we're in a state of ihram. Now, we can freshen up when we get back to our rooms, and we'll take rest because we probably will make Umrah a little later on in the day after getting rest, because it'll be a long journey. wait for the sun to go down, most likely, and you can freshen up and take a shower. However, no scented soap, right? So you can bring some unscented soap. No using any deodorant with any sort of scent, right? In a state of ihram, this is something else. So nothing with scent. Now we're going to go, and there'll be, you won't be going alone. There'll be going in Jama'ah. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Alaykum bil Jama'ah," right? That there that is incumbent upon you to be with al Jama'ah, to be with the group. So for those of you who are going with me, I am going to arrange us brothers and sisters, and we're going to go around and do the rituals together. No going in front of the group or leading the group. I will be in front of the group, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, and we will line it up so that we will have people who are mahram to each other, husbands with wives, protect wives, daughters, things like that, and we will make sure that we are each other's protection, but no going off on one's own. Now, for the arkan of Umrah, we mentioned number one, that is Niyyah and Ihram. Number two of the arkan is a tawaf, going around, circumambulating the Kaaba 7 times. This is obligatory, right? This is the obligatory part. We should be in a state of tahara, so have made wudu and going around making the tawaf. Make sure that when you're in the room that you try to drink too much liquid and to relieve yourselves and make wudu. Why? Because if you break your tahara, right, there are no bathrooms inside al-Masjid al-Haram. There is a long way that you will have to go out to make wudu outside of the actual masjid, and the group is not going to wait for you, right? You have to come back and be on your own. Like the group is going to keep going. The group can't stop for any one person who like has to go to the bathroom. So relieve yourself. Make sure you make wudu. You're in a state of tahara. So where we start the tawaf is at al-Hijr al-Aswad, which is the black stone. So this is the starting point for the tawaf. And you'll see that on the marble, and we will do it on the ground floor, there is a marker or like a line that will show directly to the black stone. Now, due to it being crowd and safety concerns, we're not going to be going to try to touch the black stone while we are going around 7 times. Once you get out of Ihram and you want to do your own tawaf, you can try to touch the black stone on your own. Or if you go and do a second Umrah and you're on your own, you can go and try to touch the black stone. But it is sufficient to salute, starting off facing towards the black stone, al-Hijr al-Aswad, and you can just wave or put your hand up, Bismillah, Wallahu Akbar, right? But you can salute the black stone. This is where it starts one time around. Now for men, it is recommended. It's not wajib, but it's recommended that for the first 3 times going around, that it should be done in a fast pace, in a faster pace than just a regular walk. It would be a brisk walk or almost a jog. You'll see some people who are kind of running around faster. Now we're going as a group, and we're going to be protecting our women folks. So for the men, you can just, for the first 3 times, kind of simulate like you're going faster with your arms, but we're going to stay as a group. Again, it is not wajib to run around the first 3 times. It is recommended for the men, not for the women, right? But we're going to stay as a group. Now, you can stay silent the entire time, going around the 7 times, but it is recommended that we make dua, right? And again, there are 2 places that are recommended to touch in going around making tawaf, but we're not going to try to go close. But this is just for your knowledge. You go on your own. One is Rukn Yamani, right? And this is the Yemeni corner, and you can recognize it because this is the one corner that it will not be covered by the kiswa, and you will see that there's a type of bulge in which there is a resurfacing of it. That is the corner before the corner of where the black stone is. So the Yemeni corner and El Hijr al Aswad, that corner are the two corners that it's sunnah to touch, but we're not going to get try to get close. Any dua in any language is fine to say around making tawaf, but it is recommended that from Yemeni corner, a Yemeni, to Al Hijr Aswad, the recommended dua is Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Our Lord grants excellence in this life and grants excellence in the next life and spares us the chastisement of the fire. This is the recommended dua, and this was the dua said by our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam making tawaf. Once we go around that's one unit. So we start at the black stone and we come back around, that'll be one. Now, Abdullah ibn Abbas anhuma, he said that it is makruh to just have superfluous talk or just to have general conversation. So this is, tawaf is like salah. Tawaf is ibadah. It's not the time just to have general conversations or telling jokes. Ibn Abbas says makruh to just have general conversation. So it doesn't violate the tawaf, but just to have casual conversations, no. It's best to make dua or to make dhikr. If not, stay silent. But it is reprehensible just to have casual conversation going around making tawaf. Okay, so after we go around 7 times, then we will go and make 2 units of prayer, rakatain, behind Maqam Ibrahim alayhi salam. وَتَخَذُوا إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَتَخَذُوا مَقَامَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. This is what is said in the Quran. And take to the station of Ibrahim as a place of prayer. Now the 2 units are said there, and this is of the recommended aspects of the Umrah. And of the recommended aspects of this prayer is to say in the first unit, Surah Al-Fatiha, and then Surah Al-Kafirun. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. Then the second unit is Surah Al-Fatiha and Surah Al-Ikhlas, Qul huwallahu ahad. So you make your 2 units of prayer. So we will pray. We won't be able to pray exactly behind it because people are making tawaf. So we'll go out to the outskirts and there'll be areas where people are praying. We will pray there. Then we will go together as a group, and then it is sunnah to drink ma zamzam, or the zamzam water. This is of the sunnah aspects. It's not wajib to drink the ma zamzam, but this is sunnah, so we drink the ma zamzam. After drinking ma zamzam, this is time of dua mustajab, when dua is answered. And we can make any dua, but it is recommended after praising and thanking Allah and singing salah upon His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the recommended dua is, and it should be in your dua book, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan wasi'a wa shifa min kulli da. O Allah, surely I beseech you for beneficial knowledge, vast, wide sustenance, and healing from all ailments, or healing from all maladies. This is the dua of after drinking ma zamzam. Then from this area, we will go to start at Safa, and we will go and make the journey back and forth from Safa to Marwa, walking in the footsteps of Sayyidatuna Hajar alayha salam. So we start at as-Safa. Inna Safa wa Marwata min sha'airillah. That surely as-Safa and Marwa are from the symbols, the divine symbols or signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we will start there. And at Safa and Marwa, we should be making dua. So we will start and make dua facing towards the Kaaba. And we will make our dua. And it is recommended to say, La ilaha illahu wahdahu la sharika lah, lahu mulk wa lahu hamd, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, etc. To say this type of kalima that we normally say when we get to the top. We make dua, then we will proceed down. Again, we will be going as a group. Normally, when we get to the bottom area, you will see where it's marked off, and you will see where people are running, and this symbolizes where Hajar alayha salam ran at that period. For men, it is recommended to run back and forth from that area, not for the women folk. And some people may ask, well, why not women when it was a woman who was running back and forth? Number one, because this is the ruling of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we follow his way. We take from his sunnah, and we know that his Sharia abrogated the sacred laws or the rulings that came before. And number two, just practically speaking, as wisdom, Hajar alayhi salam was running back and forth looking for water. But she was by herself. She didn't have a man with her to run and look for the water. She was by herself with her son Ismail alayhi salam. So we will be together as a group. We will be traveling as a group, and again, brothers, we make the movement like we are running, but we're not going to leave our sisters. Again, this is not wajib for men to run at the bottom part. So when we go from as-Safa to Marwa, this is one. When we go from Marwa to as-Safa, this is two. So it's not going back and then coming back meaning one. As-Safa to Marwa is one. Marwa to as-Safa is two. Until we finish 7. So we will do this each time we will go, and we will face, when we get to as-Safa and Marwa, we will face towards the Kaaba, make dua, La ilaha illahu wahdahu la sharika lah, lahu mulk wa lahu hamd, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Make our dua and then come back down. Okay? After we do this, so again, we've made tawaf, we made rakatain behind Maqam Ibrahim, we drink ma zamzam, we do the back and forth from Safa to Marwa, which is called sa'i. So sa'i is also one of the arkan. So we're going over the arkan, right? Those things are obligatory. So niyyah and ihram, tawaf from the arkan, sa'i from the arkan. Now, once we finish this, then it is time for the halaq or taqsir. So the halaq is the haircut, or taqsir is the cutting of hair. So one is the shaving of hair, then the second is the cutting of hair. For Umrah, for the men, getting your hair cut is afdal. Getting all of your haircut is afdal. It is better, but you can do taqsir, where you get your hair trimmed, and you can tell the barber which one. So we will walk out as a group, and right outside the Haram, or Masjid Haram, there's an area to go right in the Haram area to get haircuts. This is where we will go and get our haircut. The sisters will go off on their own, right? So once we go and we get our haircut, then we can get out of, we are out of the state of Ihram, but we have to get the haircut, okay? For the sisters, you can get a small piece of hair that's cut. I believe what it says, a centimeter. However, according to Al-Malikiyah, Madhab Maliki, this is a recommendation. It's not wajib. right, for women to get their hair cut, but it's recommended. But then afterwards, then you're out of a state of ihram, right? So this is what makes up the portion of the umrah. Then we can go back to our rooms, get rest, take a shower, then put on some regular clothes, can put on the itar. Husbands can be with wives, wives can be with husbands, and that is the rights of the umrah, my brothers and sisters. Now, what if we violate the rules of ihram? Like, let's say we put on some itar, we put on scent, for instance, right? We violated the ihram. Or what if, let's say you didn't make a complete 7 circuits of tawaf, or you did sa'i and you got separated from the group, and then you realize, oh, you only did 6 units, you didn't do 7, or you only did 5, didn't do 7. Then this is where a penalty or a fidya is paid, and for the ihram, excuse me, for the umrah to be qabul, that then there has to be fidya paid, which is the payment of a sheep, which you have to pay for a sheep. I'm not sure how much the price is now, the rate is, but you would have to pay for a sheep to be slaughtered, and then that food would be that meat, that food would be distributed to the masakin and the fuqara, the poor and indigent people in Medina. So that's the penalty for missing any of the arkan, not of the not of that which is mustahab, or that which is mandub, or that which is sunnah but not wajib, right? So for instance, there's no penalty for not running around tawaf or running a sa'i. There's no penalty for like not drinking ma zamzam after praying behind maqam Ibrahim. For instance, there's no fidya, no penalty for that. So inshallah, my brothers and sisters in Islam, we look forward to the upcoming Umrah trip, and look forward to seeing you, spending time with you all. And if you have any questions while we are there about Umrah, or any clarifications, we can do that, as well as when we make our blessed ziyarah to Al-Habib Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi rashidina wa sallam in Al-Medina, and also to the Baqi and to Shuhada Uhud and the other historical sites around the city of Medina. And we ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us an Umrah with taysir, with ease, and that's qabul, that is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will see you soon, inshallah. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.